Now, this simple tweak to the downswing here you're watching will absolutely save you thousands of hours on the driving range, because what this is going from having the right side kick out, which so many golfers do, to try and get their hip rotating in the downswing, to keeping then the right side almost feeling like it's moving back going through the golf ball. That will be absolutely game-changing for you. So if you do exactly what we saw Justin Rose do all the time in his pre-shot routine at the Masters, you will get one, more centered strike. So less toes, less heels, especially less heel shots. 2, the club will start to fall on a better path more consistently. And 3, you're going to stay down in your posture and turn better. So if you're someone who really struggles with early extension, this will be absolutely crucial for you. I'm also going to show you this brand new drill I've just discovered, which is perfect for teaching this move. So let me hit 3 shots of doing what 99% of golfers do to start that downswing with that right side pushing forward, getting the rotation with the right hip, and then I'm going to hit 3 shots doing what we're going to have with that 1% movement with that right side. So here we go, 3 shots. I'm going to try and get all my rotation with the right side, which again sounds very logical for a right-handed golfer to rotate with your right side. But as we're going to see, it's going to be very, very hard to control the ball. I mean, that was really not good, that one. So again, I'm hitting an 8-iron here, and that went 135 yards, and that's out of bounds. So another one. Again, it's a hard move once you know how to do this 1% move to even remotely hit a good golf shot with. So a lot of golfers can time one a little bit better than I can there, doing this move where you could get away with it. But again, the consistency is not going to be there. So here we go, one more. Again, for me, my miss is a pull shot, so this is just making it even worse for me. And I'll explain exactly why that is after these 3 shots here. So let's do now 3 balls where I'm keeping the right side back. So all I'm doing is a small tweak going from here to ultimately just staying back, just keeping it back. Just like here, we can see with Justin Rose. Look at him moving down, right side staying back. So, okay, here we go. So 3 balls again, right side staying back. Feels so much easier to be able to turn through that golf ball was the first thing I feel there, and again wasn't really going at that shot. Distance then ramped up. I've flown the little makeshift green there, so much better already. Let's do another one. Again, keeping that right side back just feels like you can whip through it. Again, to give you a good explanation of exactly why this works. Again, another one that's absolutely spot on, perfect. Club path there looks good as well. Okay, one more. Oh, that was a nice strike. Lovely. Oh, wow, that's gone quite long of the total distance. So, just like again, we see with Justin Rose, keeping that hip back. He was doing this all throughout the Masters. Of course, we saw so much of him at the Masters because he played really, really well. Let's explain exactly why this works. So there's 3 points we talked about in the intro there. We talked about strike, we talked about club path, and we talked about staying down in posture. So let's explain both, or all of those, with both techniques there. So for the striking, if I'm really pushing and rotating with my right side, what that's going to do, that's going to make it really hard to consistently control the right part of our striking on the club face. Because let's say if I'm coming down, the right side pushes forward. If I make no adjustments in my swing, which was generally what was happening to me, the absolute swing arc is going to diverge outside the ball line. So again, if let's say we've got our arc going through the golf ball, I've just got a simple ball line going through there with my golf club. Let's use one of the clubs here that's provided at Tee to Green and Air, west coast of Scotland. So if I am pushing that right side out, it's very easy to get the club diverging outside the ball line. And as you can see there, I am going to hit a hosel shot if I don't make any counteractions. For me, on those shots there, I was subconsciously pulling in through there to save the shot. We might see a lot of golfers who are better golfers, maybe some professionals that actually make adjustments to it, which there are some pros on tour who turn like that, but they make a lot of, let's say, adjustments or matchups, you could call it. So one thing that could happen, of course, shanks. But what we might see for a lot of players is absolutely they will make an adjustment. So that's where we could see a player extra side bend going through the shot. And if they're not turning at the same time, that's then going to get the club too dumped under. It's going to get it pulled on the inside of the ball line, because when we have a lot of trail side bend, you can see gets the upper body falling back, which could struggle with low point issues. You could hit it a bit fat from there and thin, but we know that movement drops the hand path, so it counteracts the pushing out movement. But if you're not turning through the golf ball like Justin Thomas at the same time, who does this move, and Colin Morikawa, they both do this, but have tons of trail side bend whilst turning. Most golfers won't get the turn aspect whilst doing that. They'll snap their backs in half, they try. But then that will just get you hitting too far out the toe if you don't. Whereas if now I'm coming down with that small tweak of just keeping that trail side back, now my swing arc hasn't moved at all. It's still traveling through the golf ball nicely. So in relationship to ball line, we can see the club's going to be passing through nicely, exposing the sweet spot of the club, which is what we want, which is why we saw so many of my shots go a hell of a lot straighter after making that change. So keeping that right side back, turning through, keeps the arc going through the golf ball nicely. I don't have to make any counteraction movements. If we do have anything like that, we will see poor striking, but that's not because of the trail side. That will be just a fault that you have in your golf swing, but it will keep things constant and much more consistent, a lot less timing to be able to, let's say, manage when you're out playing. So secondly, club path, and I'm actually gonna hit a few shots to demonstrate this as well, because we can of course see the club path here nicely. Trackman facility, tee to green in air. So absolutely, if I'm gonna go and push the trail side out, it is going to, for most people, like we were describing before, how the club will move on the outside of the ball line, it's gonna give you a little bit of an out to win path for most. So like if I hit one there, really pushing that trail side out, that was so bad. So we can see I almost missed the ball. So we can see, look at that club path. Wow, look at the face angle as well. But club path, more than anything, we can see it is almost 9 degrees to the left. So that is quite out to win. I'm not even gonna try to do something to match that up, because I think I'll break my back in half if I tried to, with let's say tons of trail side bend or early extension, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But we can see it will absolutely make club path really, really tough to be able to consistently control. We need club path to be consistently controlled when we're playing to have a predictable shot shape. We can't be fading one and then drawing the other. We can't generally be doing that. We need that consistent shot shape. So that's where, if we are keeping that trail side more back, that's going to be making, like we said, the swing arc's going to be working through the golf ball nicer. So you're going to be getting the club falling on plane easier. So there's going to be no divergence moving out or overly in. The only thing, if it affects your club path from there, will be personal things that you have in your technique that might be absolutely influencing it. Keeping that trail side back will only keep the club on path if you let it. So again, like you can see here, be interesting to see what my path is after that terrible one. So I'm going to keep that trail side back, that right hip. That was a lovely feeling strike. Where's our path on there? Gave it a little soft one. Pretty neutral, to be honest. 0.3. So really levels you out with your club path really nicely. So again, that's why we see Justin Rose do it all the time at the Masters. Tommy Fleetwood also talks about this. He delivers a pretty good club path. There's actually a stat out there for straight balls off the tee. He is the guy who hits the most straight balls with driver of anyone on tour. A little bit of the reason why. And thirdly, we've got, of course, staying in posture and turning through the golf ball. So again, if I'm a golfer who has what the 99% do in driving that trail hip forward, you're gonna, of course, have to have an extension movement if you're going to manage it and match it up. Like we said, if you stay down in posture and push that hip out, you're just gonna cut across it. So that is where what we'll see golfers do, they'll start to either trail side bend a ton, which they'll actually start, the pelvis will start to go forward as a result, because of course, pushing forward normally will bump the hips, and if you trail side bend away, that's gonna get your up body going in 2 different directions. They'll most likely push the pelvis forward along with that. But if golfers will absolutely early extend, stand the pelvis up, pelvis go forward, upper body go back, that'll move the hands closer to the body, that'll pull the club in. So like we said, that'll get the club moving back on the swing arc nicely. How hard is it to play golf with early extension consistently? Extremely difficult. So this is a big root cause reason for early extension for a lot of golfers. Whereas, of course, what is this other movement? And this other movement, keeping that trail side back. What we see the 1% of players like Justin Rose do. Of course, that's moving you into flexion as we move. So that is the actual real thing that Justin is trying to do. Is there's a video of him online talking about it. Is he actually focuses more on his chest as he does that. Thinking of his chest going down, he has that nice shallowing move as he does that also. So getting his body into flexion. So again, when the trail heel goes up, right side pushes forward, you're going into extension, pelvis is pushing forward. But then of course, when we are Getting that trail side staying back, chest is gonna fall down. That's gonna get you into flexion instead of extension. Of course, it's gonna keep you turning through the golf ball nicely if we get into flexion in a downswing, which is the key to good rotation. So now we're getting to the drill. So it's why a lot of times I put the drill right at the end of the video, because I want you all to understand the pros and cons of certain movements before we dive into a drill. If you do try and get a movement into your golf swing without understanding it, you have never got ownership over that. So when you're on a golf course and it goes wrong, you have no idea why that is. So that's why we want to understand things before we get to the drill. Got to understand what you're doing in golf. So this is a drill I've never talked about on the channel. This is called the bowler drill. So just like when we're bowling, where does your foot go? It goes back. Now, I am not a bowler by any stretch of the imagination. So that's where I could be doing things wrong, but it looks like you're bowling, pushing that right heel or that right foot back. So what are we doing there? We're doing the exact opposite of pushing it forward. Okay, and that's where we see quite a lot of the best drivers of the golf ball. You would actually see their right foot slip back a little bit as they come through. That's because what they're doing with that trail hip, they're keeping it back. That force is staying back as they're moving through. It'll be a really, really good one. And one thing to note before I hit some shots showing you, this doesn't, again, get your hips closed off. You can still turn the hips whilst keeping that trail side back. Your hips will do it if you keep that hip back. So again, we could just do that feel. Just do some half swings, push the foot back. Again, if you're on a really grippy mat with some spikes, of course, in your shoes like I have, it might be hard to actually push it back, which I'm gonna show you a little way to get around that. So a little half swing, feel like I'm just pushing it back in that downswing. So there we go. So again, a really hard one to do, but just a little swing there, just trying to push that hip back. When we're doing this, because we're generally getting that foot pushing in that direction, don't really care where that ball goes. And that's one really, really important thing I always talk about on the channel. When you're doing a drill and you're learning something completely different, completely opposite to what you do, your body isn't going to know how to coordinate it yet. So even if it is the right thing for you to do, it doesn't mean you're going to be hitting the ball awesome straight away when you do the drill. So another one, pushing that foot back. As soon as I start that downswing, there we go. So bowler drill. So okay, have to be careful with this one. So do it nice and steady, because if we are struggling with, maybe we've got really grippy shoes, or we're just, again, so chronic pushing it forward, again, we're still struggling to get it there. Get something like a head cover, could even be like a little bit of cardboard or something like that. Something you could just stand on just so it makes it easier to push it back a little bit. So again, be careful, don't be falling over when you're hitting the shot, but just come down and just push it back as you're coming down in that downswing. So again there, a little bit of a longer swing, that one. You can see harder to push it back. So that's where, again, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, but it would have gone a little bit back for sure. So, okay, really good one to practice. Again, if you're so struggling with that right side pushing back, it's absolute game changer. Again, don't care about where the ball goes when you do it. You're so uncomfortable with a feeling. You're pushing yourself in the complete opposite direction to what you might normally be doing. There we go. Now for how silly that looked, going through it with my right foot. Again, only a little swing, but it's a pretty decent shot, isn't it? I mean, what we can see there, he had a lovely little push draw. That looks cool, doesn't it? So let's say we've done a bunch of that. Again, we've got to put in the reps if you want to retrain a new movement. Again, thinking of things into your swing via conscious thought is the reason why so many golfers don't improve, because it's not enough stimulus. So let's say you've been doing a ton of that, and now what you want to do, you want to, of course, try to get that right hip staying back in a normal swing. So that's where you can be doing pre-shot routine just like Justin Rose, keeping the right hip back as he's moving down. So as you can see, when he's doing it, he's keeping that right leg actually fairly straight, which is not a bad thing to think if you're chronically pushed forward, because then your, of course, leg goes into a lot of flexion, a lot of bent nature to it. So I've got that, I've just done the bowler drill, I've just got the feel in there, and just replicate that exact same feel. That felt nice. Lovely one down there. So, brand new drill. I think you guys will love that, the bowler drill. If you're struggling with that hip going forward, like we said, that small tweak of just keeping it that little bit back is going to be a game changer. So that's why so many golfers are grinding so hard, hitting thousands of balls, wasting their money on the driving range and getting no improvement out of it. Where you can go into your garage, you can go to your net, you can go to tee to green and air in Scotland, and you can get in some good reps and do it for a fraction of the time, 15 minutes, half an hour, and you can absolutely be getting such a brilliant practice session in. Again, just like hitting thousands and thousands of golf balls on the driving range. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction, just like this. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.